Originally I did an overview, but we all know that the basics won't do. So now it's time for a 6-month review to see if these gloves are still right for you. Because I know they're right for me, for what I need them for, and that's teaching and protecting my hands from students who they're still learning their measure, and you've got a synthetic or a steel coming down full speed at the tip into your hand, and obviously no breaks, no injuries, no bruises. Doing pretty good. Yeah, so for moderate sparring, I've done a little bit of it. My hip is not good. It's an arthritic SI joint. That's for a topic for another time. But yeah, I still love these gloves. Now, a little bits of wear and tear, possibly. You can see, there's a thread will be here, a cord edge which looks frayed there. There is a bit of wear and tear on that knuckle because this is where I get most of the hits, is on the right knuckle. And so this fabric pad that's here to help reduce the impact of thrusts that might get over the fingers and under the back of hand plate on the gauntlet. Well, yeah, it's got a few scrapes and scratches on it. For 6 months, this is pretty good, especially teaching once a week for the most part. During those 6 months, they have held up really well. Do I have any drawbacks? You can't just soak them in water and clean them. You gotta take a soapy brush and clean the cuffs. Yeah, you do need to clean them. You do need to do little spot washing to make them fresh. Otherwise, that sweat runs into the fabric of the cuff. And, tiny little bits start to offend yourself. Eventually, they'll offend others. Wash your gear. It's important. Be clean. Smell nice. Okay? Especially if you're going to tournaments. Be clean and smell nice to go to tournaments, okay? Gotta wash your gear. So you can't just throw them in the washing machine, obviously. You can't just dunk them in water. I mean, they are metal screws and... I don't know, are they leather, fake leather, real leather, elastics? You don't want to submerge them, but you can take a brush and scrub and rinse the cuffs and get them clean. The palms, so these pads, still pretty good after 6 months of a lot of long sword, mostly some poleaxe in there, a little bit of armored sword. So we can see a little bit of wear and tear on some of the little dots that help the grip of the gloves on whatever weapon you're using. But it's very minimal. So these are definitely going to last. These gloves are still good for me. The stitching is still intact on these pads. Everything looks good. So I still have my initial rating. I think I said 4.8 out of 5. And I still think that. My only flaw is this pinky feels a little tight. Doesn't quite move as well. This one moves much better on the right hand. The left hand, not so much. So, sometimes I can get tired doing, like, harness fectin kind of moves. Armored fighting, half swording if you want, or the shortened sword, whatever you want to call it. So yeah. So sometimes if you're not getting it right in the shape that it wants to take, my finger gets a little tired. And of course, as we said before, impacts. If you came up with your sword and an impact came right in on the pinky, it might bruise it for sure through this glove, and we want to protect our hands. That means still for the most intense of tournaments and when people are hand sniping or whatever they're doing to get points, perfectly valid, it's fine. You want a mitt, I'm sure. You want a mitten, something that fully covers, disperses all of that impact across a larger plate rather than directly into a small plate, which is right next to your finger, and everything is smooshing together. So, HF Black Knights, or the Michael version from CHFG. These are the Gabriels, of course, which are the fingered versions. You didn't know. But are they worth it? Yeah, I think they're absolutely worth it. I have one tiny problem. They've held up really well. Lots of abuse, and things are not meant to look perfect forever. They are meant to protect you. So they have to get beaten up so that you don't. But so far, tiniest little scratches I can barely see, a little bit of wear on one piece of fabric. And I mean, newer models have a bigger piece of fabric as well. Extra thrust protection. So yeah, there are still good gloves. If you need a fingered glove and you have the funds to spend, I would go for these, okay? I like this hourglass cuff because with my jacket tucks all the way in, my forearm protectors come right up to about there, so I've got just enough coverage, right? So everything tucks in, looks good, overlaps, really well designed, lots of protection. This thumb, excellent thumb, and that's what you get on the Michael version as well. But yeah, do I still recommend these after 6 months of teaching and having people smash me in the hands all the time? Absolutely. Yeah. The energy of a steel sword coming in and glancing off my hand, particularly my right hand, when I'm holding the sword and I'm asking them to target, and they mess up the measure and they hit my hand instead, I don't notice. So I can wear them. I wear them all class. I don't feel like I'm overheating. I mean, you get a little sweaty because with anything that you're going to wear. But I feel mobile. And other than the pinky being a little tired when I really have to grip something with my left hand, yeah. But that might just be this particular glove assembly. And I probably could reach out and say, hey, how do I adjust this? But it's not really important. Because I have to take a break because of my hip. I'm going for physio, and I gotta move, so I'm going to spend most of my time helping to make my house look perfect so that it can sell, so that I can then have the money for moving it. It's total chaos in my life. So if videos are a little bit far and few between right now, I do apologize. But I'll try to make content when I can. Of course, things are either given away, donated, sold, or being shipped. So it all has to get packed up and get ready to go. Alright, friends. That's all I want to talk about for today. Is that I still really enjoy these gloves and my rating of 4.8 out of 5 from before. What was it, 4.9? I don't know. Whatever it is, it still remains. It's the same rating. I'm still happy. So until next time, do remember to take care, stay safe, and keep on swinging. I'm not going to swing at the camera. It's a sharp sword. You got to be careful. Be safe out there. Wear your gloves.